right, everyone, we're here for turn 5 of Liberty or Death, our walkthrough of the full game, GMT's number 5 in the coin series. We just did turn 4 where the British and the Native Americans added a bunch of, the British added some troops there in Virginia, and they added some support in Pennsylvania and Boston. Look at that, that's terrible. And by doing all that, they moved ahead of the Patriot opposition on the track there. So they're ahead by 1. You have to be ahead by 10 before you satisfied any of the victory conditions. So I'm not too worried yet. So this turn, however, turn 5, we have the French and the Patriots are both eligible, and looking forward to play this guy. And you see the track on the top, the French and Patriots get to go first. Not that it really matters because the other two are ineligible. But this guy can, for the shaded is the Patriot French side, can move squadrons from unavailable to the West Indies. And we happen to have French squadrons still in the unavailable French troops and a space there in the West Indies that we can move them to. So I have a feeling that might come into play when we check out the spreadsheet. So let's see what we got here. So of course we start here at the spreadsheet, which is, it says basically, can the French, are they prevented from playing an event? And they are not. They're eligible, and that option is still right there. The first faction can play an event, so they are not prevented. So let's look and see here. If any of these are true, they will play the shaded event on the card. The first one is false. Support is greater than opposition, but the event does not shift opposition in rebel favor. So that's a no. But the second one is event moves French regulars or squadrons from unavailable, and that's exactly what this event does. As we just looked at a few seconds ago, this guy moves squadrons from unavailable to the West Indies. Look at that guy. Our hero. So they're going to take the French squadron here out of unavailable and drop him in the West Indies. So that's all they get to do. They would get to move 2, but they only had 1 left. So those are all the unavailable French regulars are still unavailable. But we'll talk about them in a second. So anyway, that also bumps up French prep. The French prep goes up by 1 because it's however many squadrons you have and regulars are available, and British casualties halved. So there's only 1 British casualty, half that at 0, and then there's 3. So our prep is 3 right now, and they have to get all the way up to 16, which is ways away before they can enter the war. So, but on the plus side, that's the French turn, so that went a lot quicker than a lot of the turns we've been used to. So we moved this. The first faction was the French, and they chose to do event. So we put their token here, which means that the Patriot faction, which is the one I'm playing and not a bot, can either do a command, and I can add a special activity. But there's something that I noticed that I think I might want to do instead. So there's an option where you don't have to do the event. You can always pass. And if you do that, you remain eligible for the next turn. Otherwise, you'd be shifted over to ineligible, so the next turn you wouldn't be able to do anything. Plus, you gain a resource if you're the Patriots, which isn't a bad deal at all. The reason I'm thinking about this is, as you see here in the deck, these are the played cards. This is our currently active event, and you always get to see what the next turn's event is. And the next guy coming up is this Claude Louis, Comte de Saint-Germain. If I'm doing that right, I'm probably not. I don't speak French. And you'll see that the French and Patriots get to go first. So if the French are ineligible next turn, the Patriots would get to go first. And his thing here is move 5 French regulars from unavailable to available. So that would move 5 of those cubes to available and really crank up the French prep. So I kind of want to do that event. I mean, it helps the French, but I kind of need the French help a little bit because, as you can see, there's a lot of British control and a lot of red and green cubes and very few blue cubes. So I could really use a little help, and it would be nice if I could get these white cubes to come up and help me kick some British butt. So anyway, so I think this is going to be the easiest turn we've had. Instead of doing anything, I'm there at my turn. I am just going to pass, which pushes up my resources by 1, so I'm up to 4. And that's that. And that's all of turn 5. So the French become ineligible, and all 3 of us now are eligible for this next turn. So we've not seen that before. So let's see what happens here. We're gonna move this guy, the Claude Louis, down here, make him the active event, and we'll draw the next guy, and it's Edmund Burke on conciliation. And this is a really nice one for the Patriots as well. This one is you can shift 2 cities 1 level each for passive opposition. So we could maybe move, New York and Boston or Quebec City up there, or even these guys here, whichever we want. Doesn't say we could do start moving those towards our level, some opposition, knock that total support down. So that's a pretty good event for us, but it also it's not bad for the British and the Native Americans either. They get to move some Tories from the unavailable space way up there to available and get them on the board, which means more cubes for the Brits. But anyway, that's next turn. We're not going to worry about him, but we know what's coming up. So let's move to turn number 6 here. So turn 6 is, we got these guys eligible, Patriots, the Native Americans, and the British. The French are all by themselves. And we got this rather handsome gentleman here. The French, you see, they have the first go, but they're, like we said, ineligible. So we're not going to worry about them. The next are the Patriots, and I really like doing that action, so or the event. So I'm going to quick do that and take that event, which, as we said, moves 5 French regulars from unavailable to available. So let's just move these guys over here. There we go. 5 regulars. We still have a whole bunch out there, but we have some troops now. Yay. And know what that does even more is that moves our French prep from 3 all the way up to 8. So we are now halfway to our getting those French to come and help us. So that's a nice big move for the French and the Patriots. So, but that's all that the whole Patriot turn was. So 2 Patriot turns in a row that were quick and easy. So now the second faction is going to be, on our card here, would be the British get to go next after the Patriots, right? So the British have to take this. They have to do the command and may add special activity, and of course the AI always adds a special activity if possible, if the flowchart tells them to. So let's see what the flowchart tells them to do here. So so it says, can they play the event? No, they cannot, because they're prevented from doing it. So yes, so are British resources greater than 0? No, they're not. British resources are 0 right now. So what does that mean? A quick, easy turn for us with the British too, because if British resources are greater than 0, no, they pass. So instead of going here, the British pass and go here, which means they get 2 resources. Boom, and they're up to 2. That's quick and easy for the British. But now we're not done, because we still have an eligible faction and we still have a card. Those Native Americans, what are they going to do? They're last. They are going to go here. Let's see if they pass or what they end up doing too. They do have they have one resource, so let's see. Are they prevented from playing the event? Yes, they are, because it's already been played. Is support plus 1d6 greater than opposition? Support is greater than opposition even without a 1d6, so the answer to that question is a yes. So we move down. Gather would place 2 plus villages, or there are 1d6 less available war parties. So would Gather place 2 villages? It is possible that might happen, but the thing that we can focus on is 1d6 less than available war parties. We have 8 war parties available in the box, so 1d6 is going to be less than that. So we are going to gather again. This is what the Native Americans did the last turn, so we're going to do the same exact thing. So it says place villages where room and 3 plus war parties. Well, I have no spaces on the board with 3 war parties. I have a couple with 2, but none with 3. So we're not going to place any villages, but we do place war parties at villages. First, remember our first gather. The first one is free if it's an Indian reserve, which are these spaces with the 0 population, like the Southwest and the Northwest. There, they have the 0, the black 0. So it says place underground warband first to our village. So we're gonna place one here in the Northwest, and that is a free move, but they will always do the most that they can. They have 1 resource which they're gonna spend, and they're gonna place another war party. And what are the rules here? It's first where at villages, first where enemies, and where no underground war parties. Then with Indian leader, so that's where we just did. And let's see, if any villages are able to place war parties in 2 spaces with room for a village. First were exactly 2 war parties, then were exactly 1 war party, then random. So we do have some places where we could do villages, where we have two guys, the Southwest and Quebec up there. We have 2 there. And we also, in the Northwest, we have 2 now with a leader. And we already have 1 village, but you can have 2 villages in a space. So it says, first we're only 2 war parties are ready, then we're exactly 1 party, then random. So we have 3 spaces with 2 war parties in it. So we have Quebec, Northwest, and Southwest. So we're gonna randomly pick one of those to get the 2nd war party here. And to do that, I'm just gonna roll a 1d3, and we'll do a 1 for Quebec, 2 for Northwest, 3 is Southwest, and a 3 I rolled. So that is another party goes to Southwest. So they now have 3 underground war bands in the Southwest. After that, they will go on the warpath, which is if Indian resources are 0, they will trade if possible. So we're going to go to trade, which this is what gave us all the headache last time. And boy, I'll be damned if I can remember what the rule was. I'm not going to do the same thing and bother you by looking up the rules. So let me stop the video quick. I'll make sure I have this rule right, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back, and we found trade. The trade special abilities. If the Indians request trade, and the Indian resources are less than British, which they are. British are 2, and the Indian are 0. Then we roll a 1d6. If it's less than British resources, offer to transfer half of the number rolled, rounding up. So we have a 1d6 here. We're going to roll that, and it's a 3. So that is greater than British resources. So the British give them nothing. They'll get nothing and like it. So anyway, so that means, again, that stinks for the Native Americans, but they do get with trade even if nothing, they have to activate a war party in that selected province. The province has to be one with a village, so they're going to have to activate this guy that they just put down. So they have 2 active war parties here in the northwest now. But they do get a resource out of it. So, boop, there they go. And that was 2 quick turns, relatively fast here. Turns 5 and 6. Not a lot changed on the board. We had some more war parties added. And the big thing was we got some more available French troops in here. So squadron and a bunch to really push up our French prep. So, but otherwise, nothing really changed on the board over here too much. There were a couple resource shifts, and support and opposition stayed the same. So, next time we meet, we will go to turn 7, which these guys here move over here because they did something. The French are here, and the British are still eligible because they passed. So, this is what it's going to look like for turn 7, and they'll be dealing with Edmund Burke on conciliation. Sounds really exciting. So anyway, that's where we'll be next time. Thanks for sticking with us here, and hopefully all my moving around didn't make you too nauseous. I will see you at turn 7. Bye everyone.